Hello everyone, welcome to this Moxly review video. Today I'm going to be telling you everything you're going to need to know about Moxly, and as usual, if you do have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below, and I'll also be leaving a discount link in the description so that you can always get your money's worth for Moxly. So Moxly is the next generation mobile app development platform. So this is what we're greeted with when we create our account. We have our main dashboard with the option to add managers and create applications, along with change our plan and view our applications, along with our disk usage as well. So we're going to go ahead and jump straight into creating our application. Now, an application is what many other software, so Spotify, Twitter, Discord, if you want to make a bot or anything like that on these websites, you would create an application. We're going to begin with simply putting the icon in, but we're going to go with a default icon for the sake of it. We put the application name, which would be Opulent app, and the description will be an app for me. Then you go ahead and hit next step, and then you can either choose to create a ready app, upload an application with or do you already have an archive with the application if you already have one, or just do it brand new. So we're going to go ahead and go from brand new, but you can select ones that have already essentially been pre-made and stuff like that, but we'll do from scratch. You'll hit create. Then it will say application created, and it will take us to our creation page. Now, what we have is our beginning page, and this is basically where we can create all our different pages for the app. So this, as you can see, we've got a completely blank one, but we're able to manage everything that we've got. So if I hit settings, this is where we can change the page name, the background setting, the image, and the start page settings. So obviously you can select the background color. So say we wanted to set it to step color 9, let's do 450. This would then create the background color of the app to be the gray, which we'll see in a minute. You can also go to the background image and use a default image without background, or use a custom image. So we'll do a without background image, and then you would import a PNG. And then for start page settings, you're able to set animations, you're able to set redirects to certain pages, and also timeouts as well. And then you would put the page name as page 1 homepage, and then you would hit save changes, and then this will change sort of everything that we just did. So obviously we've now got grey, and the start, once it's refreshed, will be called what we changed it to. So under analytics, we're able to view all the analytics of our page. So we've got news and events, we've got our device users by platform, so what platform people using the app are actually usually on, total installs today, the size of the disk space occupied by our app, because we've only got 32 meg for a free plan, and then installations in the last 30 days, along with device views by page title and screen class. Then under news, you have all of your news and events. This basically allows you to view any updates to the application, very self-explanatory. Then you also have push messages. So a push message is basically one of those notifications that will either pop up on your lock screen or in your notification panel, even when the user is not using the app, to do with certain things. Obviously, you would need to connect and configure the one signal service, but this is nice to know that it's an option. Then you can view all of the application users. So this is basically where you can add people to help you make your app. So you would hit add new user, and then you would be greeted with name, email, phone, avatar, last name, password, and status. All of these are obligatory and mandatory to put in, but then you can obviously hit that and sort of decide whether they're active or blocked. You can also create new databases, so you can create, edit, and change the order of them. If I go to create new, you're able to hit create, add an Airtable database, add a Google spreadsheet, or add a separator. So it's really up to you what you use. But if we want to just create a new one, this would then allow you to put the unique code of it, the icon, the color of it, the background color, the code, the secret access key if you want to link it to other things. You'd be able to select notification settings for when you get updates for the database. You'd be able to integrate it with API and webhooks, along with also have field settings. So all the different things that you're able to have on the database, you would be able to simply drag in here. And simply when you would drag them over, you're able to go email, drag it over here, and field ID for API. We don't have that yet, but all you would need to do is drag this from the left to the right and put in that field. Branding is also a nice thing. This is where you would have to re-release it, because it will have to basically take the whole thing down and do a big difference. But this is where you can brand it. So you're able to set the background and text color for the app. You're able to use, images. You're able to change the background image size to auto or whatever you really want. System colors also change. So you're able to select a color theme. So as you can see here, these are the ones that we've currently got, but to change it, you would simply click and you would be able to drag to whatever you want. So say we wanted a blue themed app, I would do something along the lines of, black having, green would be, success would be green, warning would be amber, and danger would be a nice red. And then you've got dark and medium and light. So this is basically the different sections of the app, but you are able to configure it however you really want. Obviously, light, if I put it to blue, would mean that any light things at the bottom here would be blue. And then you've also got the user colors that you can also edit under here. These are basically colors assigned by the user itself in the application. So you allow them to select between certain colors for certain things. So you give them a little bit more freedom, but in reality, you've still given them colors that work nicely no matter the order. And then you can also have the color of auxiliary elements. So any additional system colors that can be used in the application can be, as you can see, a few shades of black, gray, and white. Then you've got the settings to manage the app. You can change the name, description, version, stuff like that. You can change the icon of the app. You can change the splash screen, which is the application screen that will pop up on your phone. You've also got your privacy settings for the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. There's your application of the privacy text, so you can let people know sort of your privacy policy and stuff like that. But we don't have any. We haven't written any, but it's nice to know that it's possible. And then your page transitions, you can specify the animations when people move from one page to another. Under app side menu, you can change the menu that it will be on the left hand side where all of the different navigation features are in the app. You can obviously just add all the new items and these will take you to different places, and you can change the action for these items by hitting the edit button and obviously doing different things. You can log out, you can open side menu, you can do a login action, you can do an open popover, you can start a timer, loads of different things you can have on the left side menu. You also have the option to add Glassify, so this basically is just another integration that they offer. If you do want to use it, you would simply paste your API key in this box. You also have under the Services API, you have one signal. Very, very similar. You would put in your information. Firebase is basically if you wanted to host your application, you'd be able to do it here, but we obviously don't have any code, but you would paste the code from Google Services in here, and the Google Service info would go in here, and the changes would be saved. You also have the option to do Mixpanel as an integration, or API, and also the Google API as well, and you would paste all of your keys in here. So very self-explanatory. If you have the API keys from their website, this is where you would paste them. You also have the option to use user custom JS. JS is JavaScript, and then SCSS, which is basically a more upgraded CSS code format, and you're able to use these and use your own custom ones in order to add stuff to the pages and make your application even better. You're also able to set the start animation with a custom animation. You would simply post your HTML and your CSS code in here, and then you would hit save changes. You also have the CSS editor where you're able to change settings in the CSS as well. So this is basically for the appearance and stuff like that. A lot of other applications use it. For example, on Discord, you're able to import your own CSS custom themes for use, and a lot of people do that. It's very similar to that, just as a sort of example. Then you're able to build and publish. So to actually publish on these pages, Android, you need to generate an APK. This is an application file that you then send and obviously upload, and they scan it. iOS, it's not in our plan, but iOS, you have a very specific file to then send to Apple. Web, PWA, and Ionic sources. So realistically, you'd want to do it on Android, iOS, and web, and this is exactly how you would do it. Then at the bottom, we have the languages and the translations, where you're able to select all different types of languages, and if people don't know and it's in a specific language, but you want to translate into another one, then you would obviously do it here. As you can see, you have the title text, change language, network error, all this different stuff to ensure that it's translating correctly, and then you can also monetize it with digital items and subscriptions. You can add new products and subscriptions to it on content on your app that people have to pay to access. Really, really handy. And then also the ad mob settings so that you can add, ads onto your app so that, you earn a bit of revenue and people pay you to have their ad on your page. But that is more or less it for Moxly. So what do I think about Moxly? Now, I think Moxly is really well laid out and it's incredibly powerful for what it is. Now, obviously, what I will say is it takes knowledge of coding. When you're creating a mobile app, you will have to know how to code specific things, but this really helps you with getting a lot of things that would otherwise require code not to require code. So it basically helps you if you're on a more intermediate level. If you're on an expert level, you would obviously be coding and stuff like that. But if you're on an intermediate level, this is definitely something for you. And even if you are on an expert level, or even somebody who makes mobile apps a lot, this gives some really beneficial features. And I really like how it just lets you view all of your information in one really nice place. So I would recommend Moxly. Yeah. But thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.